What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Try and bear with me here. I'm a little under the weather. Is the joy about teachers being on strike, wanting millions of dollars a year. My kids are at home, and of course, the sickness, well, it gets spread around. So the Fringe is definitely down with the sickness. However, tonight, live stream still moves forward. The show must go on. We need to talk about Mark Carney because I have questions. I have a lot of questions. Is Mark Carney going to jail? Is he going to be prosecuted? What's going to happen here? I know many people are going to say nothing's going to happen, but stick with me because Donald Trump's recent announcement about Antifa paints a really scary picture for guys like Mark Carney. I want to get into it, but first let's go straight to what's happening in Canada. If you live in Canada, or if you're just, watching from abroad and laughing at our three-ring circus that's going on in our country, Mark Carney sits at a presser this morning to talk about how Canada's thriving under his leadership. We are all saving thousands in taxes. Houses are going up faster than a logging tree, and a bridge discount has saved the nation. What a time to be alive, says Mark Nixon. I'm just drowning in prosperity. You can tell the sarcasm. Shout out to Mark Nixon, by the way. Go check out his YouTube channel. Canada is collapsing. It already has collapsed. In fact, when they talk about investing more to boost our economy, all they're talking about is spending. They keep spending. Even though we're in deficit, you can see here how many, well, I see three white people in this picture. They love to bring in those who are BIPOC to try and boost their virtue signals. Take a listen to what Carney says.
In a few weeks, on November 4th, the Minister of Finance will table our first federal budget. And this is our economic plan to meet this hinge moment in Canada's history. It's our plan for change, our plan to build Canada strong. The budget will set out what we will build. We'll also set out how we will build. In the budget, we'll have to make responsible and pragmatic choices. As the Minister just said, we will spend less on government operations and reduce waste. So Canadians can invest more in their businesses, more in their fellow workers, more in
yada, 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 Mark. Okay, so he goes on to say, here's how great everything is. What you're not telling you, and one thing we've seen in other videos, is where they said that Mark Carney is essentially dividing the budget into two. One is government spending, the other is operational costs, so that they can put forward a budget that isn't as damning as what it should be. It's all theater. The silly CBC, who are paid $1.5 billion in government funds, is calling this a dumpster fire. Again, according to Mark Nixon, Canada gave up everything and got nothing in return. Looks like USMCA 2.0 is going to gut what's left of Canada's economy. Hope the elbows up crowd is proud today. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, Canadians have seen this movie in the past, thinking that something is imminent, something is close, and then it just doesn't quite come together. The feeling in the Oval Office today was very similar to that first meeting between Prime Minister Carney and President Trump. They clearly have a decent personal relationship. They joke with one another. It's respectful. But while that is important, it hasn't led to any sort of significant breakthrough that perhaps those in the Prime Minister's office had been hoping for. Think about what's changed from that first meeting until now. There are more tariffs, there are higher tariffs, and there are threats of new tariffs. And in addition to the relationship seeming to be in a better place, Canada's made significant concessions. Think about the investments in border security, in defense spending, Canada getting rid of the digital services tax, lowering counter tariffs. All of those things meant to be goodwill measures, and so far it hasn't resulted in any good things for Canada just yet.
So as the talks continue then, what's your sense of what Canadians should be watching for?
Going into next year, if there isn't some sort of major breakthrough, it's going to make the renegotiation of CUSMA, the Canada-US-Mexico deal, even more difficult.
So they already know it's going to be difficult, and they already know that things are going in the toilet with Mark Carney. There's nothing we can offer because Mark Carney, I've talked about showing your cards. I've put it in analogies like a poker game. Donald Trump has a royal flush, and we're playing with a pair of twos. Essentially, what's happened is that Canada's given Donald Trump everything he's asked for, without any pushback, even though Mark Carney claimed he was going to go to the United States and fight Donald Trump and get those tariffs up and running. We're screwed. We're screwed. In fact, after his meeting with Donald Trump this week, Mark Carney, and this is where you can always tell, he gets really upset whenever the media questions him about things he doesn't like, about things that he's not happy about. Look at his reaction to his own government-paid broadcasters for lighting up like a Christmas tree when they saw Donald Trump.
You guys were so excited there. I've never seen a group of Canadian journalists' faces light up. You're in the Oval Office. You're going to ask the president a big question.
We're not like that when we see you.
You're just like you were not. You're never. When you look at me, you're just like, the president's there. It's all great.
What about the pipeline?
Good discussion.
Oh, poor Mark. Poor Mark. The mainstream media hurt his feelings, ladies and gentlemen. Well, not all is lost. Pierre Poilievre also hurt his feelings as we go into the question period yesterday, where Mark Carney brags about Donald Trump praising him at the Oval Office event yesterday. Keep in mind, folks, I'm still getting to the point of today's video. Trust me, we're painting a picture here. Mark Carney brags about Donald Trump praising him at the Oval Office. Pierre Poilievre admits he too would praise Mark Carney if Mark offered to give him $1 trillion in investment. Take a look at this. This is a zinger, folks. If you missed this one, boy, is it good.
As the president said yesterday, the Prime Minister of Canada is a tough negotiator. We will get a great deal.
The honorable leader of the opposition. Here we go.
Mr. Speaker, give me $1 trillion and even I will say something nice about this.
What's funny about the comment is that Mark Carney didn't stand up after this. Again, Pierre hurt his feelings. The media hurt his feelings. Mark seething from what's going on. What's funny is the White House. Here's where we get to what we were talking about on today's video. The White House has just dropped a video going after Antifa. They're following the money all the way up. Mark Nixon goes on to say, wouldn't it be something? I know a lot of people say, God, you always follow Mark Nixon. He's got some great tweets out there. He says, wouldn't it be something if the trail leads right back to the anti-hate crowd? So Anti-Hate Network in Canada is funded by the government, and they have ties to Antifa. That's been proven in documents, in articles, in all sorts of different things. We've seen recently Rebel News uncovering that one of the people who threw smoke bombs during the Sean Foyt concert in Montreal was also employed in the military, directly tied to the government. So when the White House talks about this, and I think it's great that they're shutting this down, what does this mean for Canada? Now take a listen to the words that they say here, and then I'm going to show you where I think Mark Carney is at risk of being where they say they're going, and possibly being, at the very least, indicted or questioned.
Antifa beats journalists. Antifa attacks our police stations. They attack our courthouses. They dox our law enforcement officers. No more. They are a terrorist group, and we are coming after them.
We are here at the White House today to unmask Antifa, to follow the money all the way to the top. If you want to get to the bottom of who is fomenting this chaos and violence in our country, you must follow the money.
I was a mainstream reporter in Seattle for 10 years before I quit mainstream media, in part due to its refusal to acknowledge the dangers of Antifa and radical left-wing violence.
Part of the problem that we have is that a lot of people refuse to believe that Antifa is real. It is just a made-up thing, but I have seen them. They are real, they are dangerous, and they are violent.
Now, I heard that there were some members of Antifa that were trying to actually leave the United States. They were stopped on their way out. Now, this is just hearsay. I don't have anything to back this up. Because my concern was, well, they're going to come to Canada because they're going to try to get a safe haven. You've even got Donald Trump saying members of Antifa in any country, would include Canada, are members of a terrorist group according to the United States. And again, this isn't even the proof on Mark Carney, so stick with me, folks.
Are you going to work with your administration, as the Secretary of State's here, are you going to work with your administration to designate it a foreign terror organization?
You mean it a terror?
Antifa
Antifa?
a foreign terror organization.
Well, has that been done? Pretty close, right? Would you like to see it done?
Yes, Mr. President.
Do you think it would help?
They have foreign links
I'd be glad
all
to
across
do it. I
Western
think it's
Europe.
the kind of thing I'd like to do. If you'd like, does
Middle
everybody
East.
agree? If you agree, I agree. Let's get it done. Okay? Let's get it done.
There's Trump, and forgive me because I'm sick, but we'll try it. Would that help? Would it be great if I did that? Would you like to see it? Maybe tell Mark Carney to go get a lollipop. He could feel better. The Trump will improve as I get better, folks. Again, I apologize for being sick. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Show a little love for still plugging through while we're sick. Here's the proof in the pudding. Trump has put it through. The White House is going all the way to the top. They're figuring out who is linked to Antifa. Well, here's a look at Mark Carney's Twitter profile. Ryan Garrettson tweeting out, again, another great X account. I applaud him all the time. Mark Carney only follows 777 people on X, so less than 1,000. And this person is one of them. She is the chief of PR for Antifa. I think we should be asking questions as to why. And you can see her with her Antifa shirt on, proudly displaying everything. Here it is. Here it is down here. Look for yourself and followers. Like they have the proof in the pudding. Now, somebody says maybe friends with one of his daughters. Now, here's the funny thing. Mark Carney, if you watch the presser when Mark Carney was at the White House with Donald Trump, Trump was talking about trans in sports, how we can't have women being competed against by men. We're stopping all of that. It's done. You could see the look on Mark Carney's face. Like he just took it. And he wanted to say something, but he couldn't. Mark Carney's, I believe it's son, is, what do they say, non-binary? His daughter? I don't know what they go by these days. Look, at the end of the day, Mark Carney follows the head of PR for Antifa. He directly funds Canada's anti-hate network, which is linked to Antifa. So what happens when Donald Trump and the White House staff say even internationally those supporting them are at risk? I have a lot of questions. What's going to happen to Mark Carney? What's going to happen to the liberals that are funding this? Are we going to see arrests? Are we going to see Trump come in by force? Probably not. I know it's a stretch, folks, but it is an honest question. What do you think will happen? Once, because we've already seen it in our articles, we've seen it from different forms of proof that these folks are tied to the Canadian government through the Liberals. What happens when the White House finds out that they are directly funding Antifa? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If it's your first time here, boy, I sure hope this video earned your subscription. It's difficult when you've got this bronchial flu to keep plugging away, but I do it for you guys. So make sure you leave a thumbs up and a comment down below, especially. It helps push the video out for others to see. Join me live on the channel tonight and every Wednesday and Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central. Tonight for Friday Night Fringe, as I'm joined by the beautiful Mrs. Fringe as we talk about everything that happened this week in politics, everything we know coming up in the week ahead, as well as your Q&A within the greatest YouTube community on the platform. I always look forward to chatting with you guys each and every week. It's the main reason I won't miss it tonight. It's my last bastion of sanity. Join me live in those streams. We do memes, we do jokes. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.